What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be quite an interesting day because we have not one, not two, but three pieces of news coming out at 10 a.m. later. So probably today we're going to get another A+ day. But before I get into the intraday setup of today, it's important to first talk about yesterday because ultimately, even though we had the right idea, the day just ultimately didn't play out in the favor that we were looking for in a way that we didn't even get an entry because there was no undeniable CISD at any point. Now, what I've been super happy to see is that the majority of you did not end up taking a trade because you have now learned to understand that just because you have the idea doesn't mean that it is safe for you to just take an entry and just set a limit, set a stop loss, whatever, because you still need the market to confirm your thesis before you're able to enter. And that's going to come in some form of 5-minute CISD. So yesterday ended up being another no trade. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, when you, even on a day where, it is projected to be like an A+ day, you have news, the daily bias and everything's lining up, there's still always a chance that you are not going to get the trade that you're looking for. Like when we stack all of these different confluences, all that it guarantees is that we are much more likely to have a good trade, but it doesn't guarantee that we're going to have a good trade. Like the best way that I could explain this is in poker, right? If you end up getting pocket aces on your starting hand, that is widely regarded, well, statistically speaking as well, it is the best hand in poker, which means every time you get that hand, you are statistically very likely to make money. But very likely doesn't mean statistically guaranteed to make money. It's just that what you're looking for is much more likely to happen. So yesterday was an example of that where you had A+ conditions, but ultimately the market just didn't play out the way we wanted to, and that is perfectly fine. Learn to be okay with letting days go. There are days where you're going to kind of monitor the chart for a couple of hours, but if nothing, like if the confirmations are not there, it's just a no trade, simple as that. And ultimately, I'm very happy that a lot of you managed to realize that and just didn't get into a trade. And I hope that that is because of the masterclass that I did recently where, I spent 6 hours on a live stream just breaking down this entire system. And for those of you who have signed up to the masterclass, just understand that we will be sending the recording of the masterclass. Like you should see it in your email, but otherwise, let's get into the daily trade for today. Now, just kicking things off on the daily chart, we had a bearish daily close. So technically we should be looking for sells. However, we have also recently just filled in this bullish fair value gap. So right now you have kind of like two theories where one is towards the downside and you could have a solid argument towards the upside as well because of that bullish fair value gap. However, we're going to still follow the system, which is if we have a bearish daily bias, we're going to be looking primarily for shorts today. And we're not going to just go against the system just because we think that, oh, price should bounce from this fair value gap, right? Again, there's a very big difference between our opinion on the markets versus what's actually happening in the markets. And ideally, in order to make money from trading, you want to be trading what the market is telling you and not what you think. So with that said, let's go into the 1 hourly chart to identify any key levels that we could be looking for. And to kick things off, we have these relatively equal highs right here, which kind of aligns with the Asia high. So we're going to mark this out first. And secondly, we have this bearish order block right here that we could potentially sweep the highs, get rejected off of the order block, and then that is going to be kind of like a textbook ideal setup for us today. Now, just because I say that this is likely to happen doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. I'm also going to give you the momentum trading scenario, which is by the time that you watch this video, in the event that you break below this level right here at, actually not that level, if you break below this level right here at 91,850, this is going to be another change in state of delivery where this entire block here is going to become future resistance. So you're just going to want to look for price to get rejected off of this block right here and to head towards the downside. This is going to be scenario number 2, but notice how both of them points towards the downside direction. Now, just to go into the 5-minute chart to see if we can potentially refine this, well, the Asia highs, again, aligns with the relatively equal highs. This is what I'm expecting to happen. I'm recording this video right now, 6 hours, more than 6 hours before the news event. So a lot can happen between now and then. All I'm trying to do in this video is to prepare you for any of the high likelihood scenarios that may happen today so that when they happen, you know exactly which levels to watch for and what to do when those levels are hit. If you've ever wanted to live trade alongside with me or just get access to, this information much earlier in the day compared to when the YouTube video goes live at like 6 a.m. New York, 7 a.m. New York, where potentially you may have already missed a move, I'm posting a daily trade kind of like thread on Blueprint where before I record the video, I already give you exactly what you should look for. And as you can see here, everything that I've talked about in this video, like it's kind of already mapped out. And of course, as the live trading is happening, like when we get into the session, I will post my updates here. If any of you would like to learn my full system from A to Z and just start being able to take profitable trades consistently within the next 90 days, this is going to be one of the best solutions for you. Now, as a bonus, you get access to my live trading as well. So just felt like I should mention this for anyone that is interested in this. Feel free to check out the first link in the description box below if you would like to join Blueprint. This closes in 10 days, by the way. Before I move on to Ethereum and Solana, let's take a look at the invalidation scenario for this, because in the event that price just keeps shooting up and, after taking these relatively equal highs, price continues shooting towards the upside. And in the event that you get a candle close above like $93,000 or potentially even $93,400, that is going to be a bullish change in state of delivery towards the upside on the 1 hourly chart. So in the event that you get this, essentially, like, just because you hit these relatively equal highs doesn't mean it's going to go down, right? It just means that it's likely to go down. If in the event you do not get any sort of M5 change in state of delivery and price just keeps going towards the upside, then today's going to end up as another no trade, because again, if we want to go long, we ideally want to wait for the market to align on all three timeframes, which means the daily should be pointing up, the hourly should be pointing up, and the 5 minute should be pointing up. If you get something like this happening, the hourly and the 5 minute will be pointing up, but you're not going to have alignment from the daily chart. It's not too late for today's candle to close bullish, and the next Monday we can come back and we can start trading things higher again. So just understand that that is the invalidation scenario. But with that out of the way, let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum also got a bearish daily close. However, you did not fill in any sort of daily fair value gap, unlike Bitcoin. So far, we're going to be looking for a short, just like Bitcoin. And going down into the 1 hourly chart, we can see that this is going to be the order block that we want to see Ethereum respecting. So at any point from this point onwards, if Ethereum just starts breaking lower on the lower timeframes, it is already good enough to get into a trade. And the specific level that you guys want to watch for by the time this video is released is 31.55. In the event that you break below 31.55, that is going to be a cue for you to just momentum trade this towards the downside. And of course, if you get a candle close above this level right here at 3,200, that means that, you're potentially going bullish on a 1 hourly. And that is not a situation where you want to be going into shorts on Ethereum, especially. And actually, I forgot something super important. The ideal trading time window for today is going to be between 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. basically, because that is when news is going to drop. So essentially, whatever scenarios that I just talked about on Bitcoin, where we get, we sweep the relatively equal highs and start going down, or if we break down and we start breaking down lower, then you're going to want to look for your entry ideally between the hours of 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That is when your probability of your trade playing out is going to be at its highest, because you're going to have read for the news within that time window. But lastly, let's take a look at Solana. On the daily chart, you have a bearish daily bias, and so far you are very close. I can't even tell. Yeah, you're very close to filling in the fair value gap, or potentially you filled it. But either way, based on the system that has gotten us an 80% win rate over the last 300 days, we are still going to be trading the system. And in this case, you can see that Solana has almost filled in the bearish fair value gap, and so far it's breaking lower. So there are going to be two situations here. One is you're going to sweep out this high here during the time window that I mentioned, fill in the fair value gap, and you start breaking lower during the 5 minute chart, and that is going to be your ideal trade setup. Otherwise, by the time you watch this video, if Solana has already got a hourly candle close underneath $138, you're just going to momentum trade this towards the downside basically. And again, I will be posting all of these live trades on Twitter, so feel free to follow me on Twitter if you'd like. And guys, if you've made any money from following my trades over the last 300 days, just understand that you've been able to achieve that just by kind of piecing the puzzles together by yourself. What if you had access to the full system where you can just copy paste and put it into action? You're probably going to make a lot more money compared to what you were doing trying to figure it out by yourself. If you're interested, Blueprint remains open for the next 10 days. After that, it will be closed. And this is the perfect time for you to lock in during Q4. And by the time the new year rolls around, you're going to be a brand new trader. And ideally, you're going to be profitable as a trader. Otherwise, see you guys next Monday. Have a good weekend. Ciao, ciao.